Hello, and welcome to Nurtural Disasters. This is a podcast for those of us with toxic or emotionally immature parents. We might not have a bunch of credentials next to our names, but we do have PhDs from the Hard Knocks University. Basically, we want this to be a validating space for adult children of parents who had no business having children.
Welcome to Nurtural Disasters with Ken and Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Ken. It's a holiday today.
Is it?
Yep.
I didn't get a day off.
Well, you should have because it's World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day.
That can't be real.
It's WNAAD. WNAD.
Oh my God.
And it literally in parentheses, it's like WNAD. I'm like, okay.
So do you get a free narcissist on this day, or because other days you get a free donut for donut day? So
Yeah. Well, like National Donut Day, you go to Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' and you get like, oh, here's your free donut. No, you know what we get?
what
A video.
video?
A video from like a mental health professional. Today's National World Narcissistic Abuse Day. So we're giving awareness. They're basically like, great, yeah, we get a video. Thanks. But I would prefer if it was like, here, get a free massage to soothe your nervous system that's been fucked up for like ever. Or free therapy. Or like, at the very least, like a free cocktail, right?
Yeah, free cocktail. Here's some booze to numb the pain.
Yeah, we've earned it. Let's be real.
So what about it? Why did you bring that up, Lisa?
It was like all over my social media. It's like World Narcissistic Abuse Day. And
It's like the opposite of my social media. It's like people did not know that was a thing.
well, I follow a bunch of mental health people. Like, it was Dr. Romney had a video, which is really nice. A few other people. But yeah, it's not a fun holiday, But even if it's like National Pizza Day, still nobody knows about it because they're made up. They're all made up.
They're all made up, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you get a day off or they give you like a free snack, it just isn't made up.
Yeah. It's for free food.
It really is like a free food kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
if you give anybody free food, it's that kind of day. Honestly, people really like free food. That's really
Oh, I do too.
yeah. That's how I got into Bible study, because of free food.
Oh, free's my favorite number.
I know.
Yeah.
How much does that cost? $3.
Frida. Frida. I don't know. So yeah, so now that June 1st is World National Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day thing. So, but it's funny because we're recording on the 1st. By the time it comes out in 2 weeks, it'll be what, your birthday?
Yay!
Yeah, I can. 21. Woohoo!
Yeah, 21. I wish.
Same.
Yeah. So this is a nice segue into the episode's topic. Is going to be about birthdays, right, Lisa?
Yeah, and how wonderful it is to have birthdays when you have a narcissistic parent.
Yeah, here's the thing about the narcissistic parents. It's an odd kind of dynamic if you're kids of a narcissistic parent. I think even Dr. Romney kind of discussed it a little bit. But yeah, a lot of it that she talks about is more about, at least the ones I've read about, that she pretty much stated like how a narcissist would view their own birthday, right? Pretty much it's a matter of them being the center of attention. So if it's their birthday, they would, of course, want to demand certain things to give them the ability to be the center of attention. But what happens when, let's say, they're the parent and they have to do that for their child? That's the interesting thing that comes up because it's hard to explain my situation with my parents. It's a really odd situation. I think I've left nuggets out there about just how my birthdays were growing up. I think if anybody that's been listening to the show, no, for me, it's like a very sensitive topic. Anytime around my birthday, it's like a time for dread. For other people, it's a time for celebration. I know some people, as they get older, they don't really view it as really exciting anymore. For me, it's like a double-edged sword. It's a time for me to celebrate, but for me, it's also, I dread what is associated with it. I'm not sure if that's the same for you, Lisa, knowing that you have a narcissist mother. We've never talked about how your birthdays were when you were growing up. So if you could elaborate about that, that'd be great. So, Lisa, how was your birthdays growing up?
Oh. Not great. I don't remember ever being celebrated, really. It's funny, like, the worst one, and I think I told you about this, Ken, because I was actually really pissed about it when I was, like, talking to you. I was, like, getting really mad because so I think I was probably 20, And at that time, so that was only, like, last year. So just kidding. Okay, maybe it was a decade ago, but whatever. So my mom was with her partner at the time, and we were at a hotel because we were, like, in the south of Arizona. Anyway, so I guess it was the day before my birthday, and he decided to go to a bar, get drunk, and then come back and start puking on the carpet. Just like, "Ugh," and he in between every puke, like, every expulsion, he would say, "I'm dying," like, loud, you know? And I'm like, this is, like, 3 in the morning, and I'm like, "Great." 'Cause he's like, "Bleh, I'm dying," and then, like, I guess he wanted me to, like, clean up his puke, so I was like I just flat out said I was pissed that I was like, "It's my birthday." And you know what he said? He was
What?
like he's like, "Oh, happy birthday." Bleh. I mean, like, oh, yeah, it was like a metaphor for my life.
He told you to clean up his puke.
Yeah, it's very entitled. I guess later he was, diagnosed with sociopathy or something. So, anyway, yeah, that's before he went to jail, but he was committing fraud. I guess he worked at banks and then, like, fake checks. I don't know, it was, like, his whole thing. That was, like, the worst one, and when I was telling you about it, I was getting pissed because if it were me, right, and if I knew, like, my partner had or somebody close to them was having a birthday, I would go all out. I wouldn't be go out drinking on their day and come back drunk. I would make sure they would be treated like royalty, you know, because it's just me. I'm that type of person, you know, I'm a generous person. So, I never would have think to do that to somebody, and so that's why last year for my birthday, you know, because it was, like, a bit of a milestone, I purposely went to Mexico, and I celebrated with family, and we were in Guadalajara, and we celebrated there. We got an Airbnb, and then we took a shuttle to the town of Tequila, and then excuse me, sorry.
Are you
Um,
drinking the tequila right now?
no, sorry, it's just bubbly water makes me burpy and
Oh, that
hiccupy.
you just mentioned tequila. You should have been like, "I'm drinking tequila." There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, I'll just lie. I'm drinking tequila.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, virgin tequila. So, took a shuttle to the town of Tequila, which is right outside of the city, and then did, like, tequila tastings, and it was such a nice time, and I'm like, "This is what my birthday should have been," you know, like, I'm celebrating myself, like, I'm kinda switching the narrative because, you know, we're used to having shitty birthdays and stuff. It's all about them, you know, our parents are so self-involved that they just make it about them. Whether it's intentional or not, they don't realize. It's very frustrating. So I'm changing the narrative and I'm making it about me. You know, I didn't have like a big blowout this year, but what's fine. You know, I had fun as long as I'm with good people. And I know your birthday's coming up and I will take you out like I did last year. We had like a really nice time. You know, we went to this, one of our favorite restaurants and they have the best mac and cheese. Fuck, I love
They
it.
do. They do.
Oh my god, it's the best. So, hey, if we could go back there, you know, I'll take you out, like, that's the type of person I am. Anyway, Ken, I'm sure you have tons of stories too.
Well, I wanna ask more about that. So, growing up, did your mom or whatever partners that were there, or maybe even your dad, did they try to set up, like, birthday parties for you, or was that, like, a non-thing?
You know, there were birthday parties when I was growing up in Mexico because okay, so, you know, my parents, when they split when I was really young, so when I was in Mexico, like, in the weekends, I would have with my dad, and then during the week, I was with my mom. We lived with my grandmother and stuff. So I think, because I lived in a multi-generational home, I think my grandmother would have, like, made cakes and stuff, and so there were people, and then my dad would have his own thing, do his own thing with his friends, but once we came to the States, my mom I don't think she takes the initiative to be like, "I'm gonna celebrate somebody," so it'd be like, "Oh, we'll just go out to dinner," or something, like, it wasn't a celebration, maybe? Something like that, but it wasn't horrible, like, until, like some of them were, like, horrible. Like, the normal ones were like, "Okay, we went out to Denny's. I got my free breakfast," or whatever. They give you know, if it's your birthday, they give you a
Yeah, yeah,
free
yeah,
is it
they do.
Denny's or IHOP? Yeah. Like, that sort of thing, like, "Okay, it's cool." I mean, it's chill, but there's been, like, horrible ones where it was just, like they just, like, ruin it. That was, like, the one that my 20-year-old that's probably one of the more egregious ones, for sure.
So pretty much nope, not really a party once you move to the US. I'm assuming your
No.
grandma's the one that kinda took initiative with that since you're her granddaughter. Yeah, kids love birthdays, right? So
You know,
she
weird. She didn't even like me, but she was the cook of the house and, like, a baker.
Mhm.
I guess she would make a cake, like, from scratch, type of thing.
I think
Um,
even it's because of a grandkid, right? It's still you're still her grandkid, even though
I
it's not,
it's out
like,
of
the best of relationship.
obligation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least attempt, right? I'm
Yeah,
assuming since your mom is a terrible cook that she can't possibly bake you a cake. Did she
I
buy you a cake at least?
I'm thinking.
Try to think. See, that's like, oh, man. Try to see,
No,
it's like, was there a cake?
that's a good question. I don't know. I think I remember I made cakes, but it wasn't, like, just for a birthday, but it was, like, the Betty Crocker stuff from the box.
Mhm.
I made that at home just because I just liked cake. I just, you know, just to eat. Oh, like, my mom's never baked anything that I no, no, never.
It's probably not a bad thing that she didn't
Oh
bake
my god.
anything.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
god. Can you imagine that disaster? It would look there's like that there's a website like Cake Rex.
Mhm.
It's literally just a blog of, like, the ugliest looking cakes in the world, and you just go I mean, if you're ever bored, it's Cake
Yeah.
Rex. The yeah, that would be like, my mom would probably win. She'd probably break the internet if she had to make a cake.
My imagination thinking it's probably gonna be a cake, but the center's, like, all liquefied because it didn't set because it's like the ingredients aren't set properly and the center is, like, like, watery. It's like,
Oh,
"Here's your cake." So it's like a, like those clam chowder bowls with the bread bowl. So the center is all,
the
like,
red
liquefied. I I bet you that's like, if she actually tried to bake a cake, just based on what you told me, it's like, that's probably gonna be what's gonna be the cake, right? It's gonna be like a bread bowl. It's like,
Yeah, 'cause
"Oh,
yeah,
we're
she
having clam chowder tonight." It's like, "That's your cake."
oh, is this clam chowder? No, that's your cake.
The cake's not supposed to be liquid in the center, you know? It didn't set.
Well, she doesn't know how to read. So, like, she doesn't read English, so she wouldn't read the
And
instructions.
even so, like, some people have a feel, right? Like, there's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people, especially, like, Mexican mothers, they don't have recipe books. It's kind of a feel. It's like,
Yeah. My
it's
grandma's
an
like
inherent
that.
feel, like, it's,
It's instinctual.
mhm. I think it's, from years of honing it, "Oh, I added too much of this last time," and then as
Mhm.
throughout the years, you're usually the guinea pig if you're the kid, and it's the family, you're the guinea pig, so as their cooking improves, you reap the benefits, but unfortunately for your mom, that never happened.
No. Hell no.
That is a bummer. That could be why you know how sometimes, like, I'm horrible at remembering birthdays, and you would tell me, it's like, "Oh, yeah, I just had a birthday." I'm like, "I'm so sorry."
Uh, you know what? I mean, I don't remember people's birthday unless, like, I'm super close to them. So, there's, like I just cheat, just on Facebook, you get that
Mhm.
notification, like, "Oh, shit, someone's birthday. Oh,
Honestly,
happy birthday."
honestly now, nobody remembers anybody's birthday. It's like
Yeah.
I think as a person, you have to remember your spouse's birthday and,
Your kids.
um yeah, kids, yeah, and your kids. It's very important that you remember your kid's birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. My mom forgets my birthday. I think I talked about this, but, like, forgets the actual birthday day. So she's telling me it's the day before, and she'll argue with me that it's this day before, and I was like, "No." Like, "Were you there, idiot? I used to get the month right. Fuck."
Is it a matter of just, like, she's just careless and she doesn't
Yeah,
bother even acknowledging
carelessness.
it? Yeah.
S Whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's okay because 'cause I've forgotten how many birthdays of hers since ever after I went no contact, I purposely went, I was like, "Well, it was her birthday? Oh, it was? Oh, whatever."
Does she try to contact you, or does she even have your, like, contact anymore?
Well, she's blocked.
Okay.
But I think she has, like, these new profiles because it'll pop up, like, "Friend suggestion," and it's, like, a variation of her name, but it's obviously her, and, like, she's friended mutual people, like, mutual family members, so it's obviously her, and I'm like, "Okay, you're getting blocked," like, a variation of it, like and then I look and it's like, "See all the people you blocked?" It
Mhm.
was, like, variation number 8 of that I blocked, and then she has, like, her flying monkeys, my
Oh.
aunt, who's her twin sister, who lives in the States too, will randomly send me pictures of, like, baby pictures of me or that I was younger, but I know my mom's behind it. I'm not that dumb, okay?
I just wonder because I'm not sure if I asked you this about your aunt. Does she have any kind of, like, narcissistic tendencies like your mom since they're twins?
Oh, yeah, they're both narcissists.
To the bad degree as your mom or just, like, slightly different,
You know
worse?
what? You know what everyone calls her? They call her my mom's puppet. They literally they call her the puppet because she's just It's like she has no mind of her own. It's like, "Dude, do you have a fucking mind of your own? Do you, like, just do everything she tells you to do?" Yeah, you know.
Well, you know how it is, actually, I was when you said puppet, I was thinking, it was like, "Oh, your mom sticks her hand up, like, your aunt's ass and, like, starts talking." I was like, "Hello.
"Hello."
Hello there." I was like, "Nah, this episode's probably not gonna be, non-explicit, I guess."
Yeah, yeah, we ruined that. We keep ruining every fucking episode. It's like, "Oh, wait."
Have I told you it, like, pretty much averages, like, a dozen F words and a dozen, like,
Uh,
S words, like, consistently.
and it's funny how you say, like, F word. You don't even say fuck. You just say, like,
I might as
F
well just
word.
say "fuck." It's like,
Might as well.
your
Yeah.
go-to I just realized your go-to word is "fuck," and my go-to word is "shit."
Okay, well, we already fucked it up, so
Well, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure children aren't supposed to listen to this podcast. If they somehow listen to this podcast, goodness, you're not supposed to listen to this podcast.
You know, I but look, kids today with the internet, they've seen, like, the craziest shit. Now it's my turn to say the word shit, but, like, they have they've seen some of the nastiest, most depraved stuff. So, to them, what's an S word? What's an F word? To them, it's like,
I don't know. That might be the little part of it. Like, if they actually understand what we're talking about, you could call this psychological horror. But this podcast is psychological horror. I'm gonna find the genre. I'm gonna put this in the horror section. Yeah, because it's
okay, yeah, the
pretty scary.
horror.
The stuff. Yeah, some people actually have told me that it's I told you too that it's a little too. It's hard to get through, even with the levity.
Yeah.
It's hard to get through. It's like
Yeah.
it's like watching someone get beaten
Yeah, the people are
emotionally.
I even had a friend tell me, it's like, I've taken a break from the podcast because there's so much negativity in the world, and it just brings me down, and it just feels so negative, and I'm like, "I get that." Because it's not for everybody too, even though, like,
It's not.
I mean, she had a really nice mom who was, like, she loved to death and
I know. Can't relate.
can't relate.
That's probably why.
And but she's picked it up again, and she's been, like, talking to me about it. She's like she loved the Michael Jackson episode, by the way, the first
Oh,
one.
great, great, great.
Loved it.
Anybody that hasn't listened to part 1 and part 2 of Michael Jackson's, episodes, please go listen to that now. How's that for a plug?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the part 2 will be by the time this airs, yeah, part 2 will already be out, and so, Ken, so what are your horror stories, speaking of the horror genre?
You know there's a lot of horror with my birthday. This is why I brought up the episode idea to you. For me, you know what sucks? For me, it's like the happiest day of the year and the worst day of the year. So anybody that's known me for a while, at least seen me as like an older young adult or probably in my 20s or even in my 30s, they realize for me, like my birthday it's very, I don't even know what the word for it is. It's like a day that I'm hopeful that I get to celebrate, but it's a day that I also see as this is a day that probably gets set up for disappointment.
Mm,
And it stems from, I think, my parents just never celebrating my birthday or going out of their way to celebrate my birthday. I think we were joking before, Lisa, that it's like, are our parents like Jehovah's Witnesses? If anybody doesn't know, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate like birthdays and like major holidays like that. So, so it's probably like Michael Jackson. It's like he probably didn't celebrate birthdays. Yeah, because that's not a thing in their belief system. Like that kind of ceremony is not a thing that's practiced.
Yeah, we should've just been Jehovah's Witnesses because it's
It
just
might
like,
as well
might
have
as
been
well have it,
at
yeah.
least it have been a good excuse, right? It's like, "Oh, we don't need to celebrate worldly ceremony. We just, Jehovah's Witnesses." But yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't like that.
Did you get
It was
presents?
Huh?
Oh, did your parents, like, give you presents at least or anything,
You
or
know what? At least they kinda gave me presents, so I might as well bring up the first birthday that I could remember. I was at my aunt's house, and every birthday since I could remember, my parents would always celebrate my birthday with my cousin because she was born nearly like an entire calendar year. Her birthday's like 2 days before mine. She's born exactly like a year after. So, the thing is, our families will always celebrate it together, when our families were, like, on good terms. There has been falling out with some family members, so we don't do those kind of family reunions anymore, and since, like, most of my dad's side of the family kinda lives in the area, everybody was there. But the thing is, I realized at a very young age that if my cousin celebrated her party, like, anywhere that's not in the vicinity of me, like, let's say she's celebrating with her other side of her family, I don't get a birthday party. That's pretty much what I realized. And I think the first birthday I remember, I think I was like 3 or 4 years old. And ironically, I live on the same street that of that birthday party. My aunt used to live on the other side of the hill on the same street that I'm living on right now. I remember one really vivid memory. We were passing out gifts and we were opening things, and I remember being 3 or 4 years old and saying, "Hey, how come she has more gifts than me?" Like, I was referring to my cousin. My cousin had more gifts than me, and everybody started laughing. It was, like, really, things that kids say, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is, what I remembered is, you know how when you're a kid and when you're growing up, you have very segmented memories. You don't have usually very vivid memories of a whole block. It's like segments of, like, things that you could piece together. Next thing I remember, it was that I was in my dad's car in the backseat with my sister, and then my dad and my mom were getting mad at me for saying that my cousin had more gifts than me because it's so embarrassing. It's like, "We didn't
Mhm.
teach you anything. You're not supposed to say that." And they were getting really frustrated with me, and I'm like, I didn't know what to say because I was like a little kid, and my sister was like, "Well, he's 3 or 4 years old. He doesn't know anything. He's telling the truth." And my parents were
Mhm.
like, "That's still not okay." And that's really after that, like, I just, like, like, the camera just shut off in my head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
Well,
And
how dare you make them look bad and cheap? It's your fault, I'm sure. Uh-huh.
well, it's not that. It's like I guess it's very important, especially in Asian culture, to have your kids kind of not say anything and have manners, right? Like, to say anything in public. It's such a manner-based kinda thing that if you have manners, it looks good on your parents that they taught you well. It's so I know it's like a thing that's ingrained in you if you're, like, Asian, an Asian American. Your parents pretty much kind of, like, beat it out of you, for lack of a better term.
Mhm.
So if you say something like that in front of everybody, like your aunts and uncles, it looks badly upon them that,
Oh.
"Oh, yeah, me as a parent didn't teach you not to say that." So it's so embarrassing for us. People are gonna think we're terrible parents, and that's really what their thought process is.
Oh. Are your parents really cheap too? Didn't you tell me?
Um, kind of. You know what's funny? 'Cause, remember I told you I was with my dad this past weekend, and my dad was for me, it's always horrible for me, like, I hate hanging out with my dad. It's like pulling teeth, and I swear, he just brought up, like, a story about one of his high school friends, and he was saying how she spent all this time before her husband passed away, that they were just going everywhere and having vacations and stuff like that and not saving their money and not being sensible, and I'm like, "Wait, isn't that what you're supposed to do with money?" I didn't say that out loud, but I'm like, this
Mm,
is the thought process of a man that saves and hoards all his money and doesn't use it for anything fun. Like, he doesn't go on vacation, he doesn't buy himself anything nice. He just pretty much everything is just save, 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 and that's pretty much the end goal.
okay.
But the problem is, like, he views people that spend money, even for, like, stuff, going on vacation, which people should do, as a waste of money. So, this is a thought process of a man that's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, yeah, I don't understand why people go to concerts. I don't know why people go to, like, sporting events. I don't know why people go on a plane to another country and have fun and take pictures and stuff." He doesn't understand that. It's really hard to explain, but it's really, like, he has no ambition to do that, which makes sense because he was kinda like a war refugee, so this is, like, the first place that he stayed at that he could just plant his seeds and just not worry about anything, right? I've talked about this with, like, multiple, therapists, and I wonder, is it like a trauma response or PTSD to living in wartime?
Yeah, that sounds like it though.
Mhm.
Was it, the Vietnam War?
Yeah,
Okay.
so if anybody knows anything about that Southeast Asian, history during that time, like during the 50s and 60s, it was pretty much a war, like, next to a war. In Vietnam, they were fighting a civil war. In Cambodia, it was pretty much genocide that was happening in Cambodia. So it's a horrible thing to spend most of your young adult life in, right? I can't imagine how it would have been if I was in that mess, but here's the thing, you can't just say, like, that is the default position you take when you're a refugee from war, because my dad's friends from high school, they're not like him at all. They want to go on vacation, they want to, spend the money that they have. They don't go overboard. I think for them, it's just you have to enjoy your life, right?
Yeah.
And he sees it as something as, "I don't know why people do this." He doesn't understand. It's weird to explain this to people, but I always thought he was very strange because he would always complain about me spending money. I used to have, like, Dodger season tickets.
Yay.
Yeah, I used to have Dodger season tickets
Hell
when it was
yeah.
affordable, when they weren't that good in, like, the late 2000s and early 2010s, and
Yeah,
yeah.
they weren't good. Yeah,
Mhm,
no.
and I used to have Clippers season tickets. I used to go to music venues maybe once a week or at least, like, several times a month, right? And these aren't expensive concerts. I would just go in a hole in the wall, like, concert venue and just watch, like, sometimes, like, an indie band play, and it'll be, like, 10, $20, and he wouldn't understand why I would do that and just waste money like that. It's fun to enjoy your time on the earth. For me, as long as it's not like an outlandish amount of money, I don't have problems spending that money. And I know, Lisa, you love to travel and
Yeah.
you live within your means to travel, right? It's a weird kind of thing that it's like you shut
Eh,
off all this pleasure in your life. Things do cost money. Going on vacation costs money. Going to these events costs money, but you enjoy it. It's a part of your life that you remember.
oh, yeah, for sure, because I mean, traveling is not cheap. You can make it
Mhm.
cheap if you go,
Mhm.
like, certain
Yeah, yeah.
months
Yeah,
and yeah.
you could definitely maximize how much you could save doing stuff. You just don't have to. It's not like you're gonna go and I'm gonna go business class and that stuff like that. A lot of people don't travel like that. They plan everything ahead of time,
Mhm.
live within their means, right?
Yeah, and, that's the thing, if you plan ahead, you get cheaper tickets, and
Mhm.
if you can stay at, like, cheaper places like Airbnb or something that's more affordable, you have to figure it out, but, like, I don't wear, like, Rolex watches, or I don't
Mhm.
have an extravagant life, but when it
Mhm.
comes to traveling, that's when I know I'm gonna splurge. Okay, maybe I won't eat out a couple nights a week, but I can use that money to travel. It's like, but I think people with your dad, that's more mm, that's more of a psychological hoarding, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
What's
y
the end goal? That's why I always wonder. What's the end goal with your life?
I don't I
What's hoarding all this money gonna do?
it's such a compulsion that it's visceral, so there's no logic behind it. Like Hoarders, like that TV show Hoarders,
Mhm.
where it's, like, literally they have to crawl through a window because you can't get through the front door, and you're like,
Mhm.
"Okay, but you have all these, like, magazines and this, and there's cat piss, and okay, what's your end goal? You're hoarding, 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 but that's the wr I don't think that's not necessarily the right question to ask, because it's so what's the word? It's a completely, like I said, it's visceral. There's no
Mhm.
logic behind it. It's just like, because of their trauma, it's like a trauma response. Your dad was in this war,
Mhm.
it traumatized the shit out of him enough to the point where it's like he had nothing, so it's like, now I need to hoard in case the psychological something for the next he's waiting for, like, the next World War III, right?
Mhm.
That might happen. So, logically, subconsciously, that's what it is, and he hasn't worked through the trauma, so that's why he keeps
Yeah.
replaying this. And unfortunately, with him, I don't think he has the self-awareness to be like, "This is what's behind this." The hoarding. Hoarding is, I mean, if you watch the show,
Yeah.
the people, when they go through, you realize, like, they've gone through some really, really difficult things that caused them to be that way.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of the hoarding situations, they do really well on the show to kind of ask the question, what happened to create this situation where they started hoarding? A lot of it's like trauma, like it's
Mhm,
like loss of a loved one, usually to like major illness, and it just turns their behavior upside down, right?
mhm,
They start worried about certain things like I don't want to throw this away. This I could correlate this with a positive memory I had. And that's how it starts, right? You just for a while, you just don't throw away newspapers, and then you don't throw away this, and then you don't throw away that, and just like a coping mechanism after a while. I
mhm.
think that show actually does really well in explaining there's different ways where someone could become a hoarder. It's not just like I like stuff, right?
Yeah, I like hoarding, yeah, I like buying newspapers.
Well,
No,
there are
yeah.
people like you know how I am. I'm like a collector. I collect stuff. And I'm like, yeah, some people could see it as hoarding, but on severe hoarding, like in those shows, it's indiscriminate. It's like everything is not thrown out. It's not in sanitary situations. My cousin, who's like a neat freak, does he used to go to my house and say, "You guys are hoarders," because we had just so much stuff in our house, and my family has a habit of not throwing things away.
Oh,
After a while, like, I started getting into the habits like, "Hey, we don't need this anymore, let's throw it away or donate it," right? Or sell it or something like that.
Ken, I noticed
Mm,
it too. I
Mhm.
went you invited me to your house, well, when you
Mhm.
were still living with your parents, and I was like, "Oh, they're hoarders." Like, right away, I could just tell, and there was shoe boxes of stuff in the like, as soon as I walked in, like, stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of shoe boxes up to the ceiling, and it was tons of shit, and I'm like, "Oh, they're hoarders." Yeah.
Yeah, and plus that there was a couple times where I, like, decorated the basement. We have a basement,
Mhm.
and there's just so much stuff that I'm like, I have to hide it because there's nowhere to put anything, and by the way, since I moved out, that place has been falling apart. The basement's completely destroyed.
Well,
Like, no one takes care of it.
does not surprise me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's completely messed up. Stuff I've had is pretty much, like, contaminated, and, you know, it's part of it's my fault. I pretty much moved out, and I didn't clear it as fastly or as swiftly as I should have, and it's stuff I could live without, but, you know, it's a strange situation, and a lot of it's, like, my dad I don't know what it is. I was listening to Dr. Romney talk about just a narcissist and their birthdays. My dad is not a person that really celebrates his birthday either. Like, he doesn't make a big deal out of it. But the problem is it goes the other way, right? He doesn't make a big deal out of his birthday, and he also doesn't make a big deal out of your birthday either as a child.
Mhm.
And it's so demoralizing as a kid when you realize that little light bulb comes in your head. It hurts so badly. And the one story that I really wanted to talk about was I went to elementary school and the kids would always have their parents, like on the most part, the kids will have their mom or dad just drop in when it's ever their birthday. And I'm not sure if you ever had this in elementary school, Lisa. They would come in and there's like a birthday, right? So and
I
so's birthday,
really?
that's their
You
mom.
guys did that?
Yeah.
I did elementary school in Mexico, so I didn't know was it an American thing?
Yeah, it might be yeah, it's an
I
American
never
thing.
even heard of that. No.
So kids would bring in their parents would bring in, like, a birthday cake, and it's just, like it's neat, right? Because 'Cause they're just poke their head in, and then they tell the teacher as, like, the teacher knows, and the best part of it is, like, all the kids, even if they didn't know it was their birthday, it's like they sing happy birthday because cake, right? Cake, and it's everybody's, like, happy, and as a kid, you look at that, and you're looking at the calendar, and I'm like, "It's my birthday coming up soon. Maybe my dad or my mom's gonna come through with a cake, right?" And 6 years of elementary school, my dad didn't bring me a cake once. And you know what the worst part was? He worked on the same building I went to school at. Like, he worked as a teacher's aide at my school. So he was right down the hall.
You worked as a teacher's aide, really? Wow, okay. I never would've guessed.
So and the
Yeah.
thing was, when I was going to school there, everybody knew I was his son. They knew who I was. So I was, like, popular in that way where it's like, "Oh, yeah, your dad's works here, so we know who your dad is." So the whole faculty and administration knew who I was. When I walk on the hallways, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my dad," and they're like, "It's okay. Yeah, you could stay here." 6 years at that elementary school, my dad never brought me a birthday cake once, and I kept thinking, "Well, my birthday is in June, so it's usually the last week of, like, school." And I'm thinking maybe my dad's busy, maybe it's, like, there's things we have to clean up and stuff in his classroom, and that's how I justified it as a kid. But after a while, I'm like, "It's my birthday. I'm pretty sure my dad's not coming with a cake." But you know how you have that optimism? Like, "This is gonna
Mhm,
be the year. This is gonna be the year. He's gonna bring the cake." And he didn't. He never brought the cake, by the way. It was
mhm.
like, he never brought the cake. And the thing is, I remember it, like, so vividly that he never brought the cake. And I'm just waiting there, like, disappointed and
Oh,
thinking,
little Ken. Oh.
yeah, he just and I thought about that and I'm like, "Oh, at least I still have a birthday party every year with my family, right? With my, extended family." And then came a 1 year where my cousin was spending her birthday with her paternal side of the family, which is on the other side. So, my parents told me, it's like, "Oh, yeah, you're not getting a birthday party this year because, your cousin's on the other side, we're not gonna have a birthday party." And I kept thinking in my head, "What's her having a birthday party somewhere else have to do with me?"
Wait, how old were you?
I think I was, like, 12 or 13. This was
Oh,
when,
okay.
like, right in the beginning of junior high, and then so she started getting, like, closer friends, right? She had her friends and fraternal side of the family. That year, I didn't have a birthday party. So that was that was that, and I realized really quick, I'm like I was a pretty sharp kid. So if my cousin is not gonna have a birthday party, I don't get one either. I have to really gauge this. I was like, "Is this the year that she's gonna do it again, and then I'm not gonna get to celebrate my birthday party?" And here's the thing, the reason why no matter how I have a falling out with my sister, I have a soft spot for my sister because on my birthday, she would always give me a present and she would always give me a cake. And this was like a thing where my parents didn't even bother doing, by the way. There came a point where I got a little older, and my parents stopped buying me gifts and just gave me money. And as a kid, it seems cool that you're getting money, right? And then as you get older, you're giving me money again. And then you realize, "Oh, I don't really know you that well, or I don't care to know you that well, so I'm not gonna even bother trying to buy you a gift that you c at worst, you could just return." They don't even bother doing that. They're like, "I don't have any time. Here's some money." And that's the justification for it. And I think this was before, like, a time of gift cards and stuff like that, but my parents wouldn't even bother go to the store and buy a gift card for me. They would just give me money in, like, a red envelope, like it was Chinese New Year.
Chinese yeah, like Chinese New Year,
I
I
was
was
like,
thinking
"It's
the
my
same thing.
birthday. Why is he giving me this? I'm not getting married." It's usually only give envelopes on, like, Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year,
Mhm.
and, like, weddings, and it's like, that's how it is. They would just give me money and, like, "Here you go." And it's like that disappointing thing where I'm looking in the envelope, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, this is a good amount of money. I could buy, like, something really nice with it," right? And then there came a point where I became an adult and I had a job, and I just, like, look at the thing and my sister, when she had a job, she had the same personality I did, like, reaction to it. She would just take the thing, and then she'll fold it up and put it in her wallet, and she'll use it as, like, "This is good luck money." And that's about it. Because it's like,
Yeah.
at a certain point, what are we needing money for? We're adults. Your 20 bucks isn't gonna do anything. In the scheme of things, it doesn't do anything. It works for a little kid. "Oh, yeah, cool. I could buy, like, a bunch of action figures at KB Toys." Remember KB Toys?
Yeah, we're dating ourselves, aren't we? Well,
Yeah,
millennial,
there was
yeah.
used to be a awesome thing in the mall called KB Toys, and they always had, like, a discount bin where you could for 10 bucks, you'll get, like, 4 action figures, and that'll be, like, something like that, and then they all closed down. Poor kids.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's I was like I didn't know that about your sister, that she would bring you a present and cake on your birthday. That's very surprising.
And the thing is, I remember that. And
Mhm,
so I always give her a lot of grace, even with the way she's kinda, like, treating me
mhm,
now, and she's just, like, angry at me and stuff like that, and we had a falling out. I still
mm.
remember those days where she was, because I remember, there was a time where she got me a gaming console, and this is, like, something my parents would never do. She got me, like a PlayStation, she got me, like, a Nintendo 64, and, like, she didn't have to, but she
Wow,
did
and
it. She did it.
that's not cheap either.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, as I got older, my sister always complained that she doesn't have any money, right? Because she didn't have a steady income after a while, but she would buy me these expensive presents that I tell her not to,
Hmm.
and she'll give me a nice present, but it'll be like something that's like, "I could afford this, you shouldn't do this because you're struggling with money," but then she won't let me hear the end of it, and then we learned about that, right? Like, she's getting me stuff that she doesn't have to, and then she's, like, complaining that she doesn't have any money, but she made this sacrifice for me that I didn't ask for. I remember, like, Dr. Ramani talked about this, in her book. It's kinda like the narcissist is giving you something that you didn't ask for and kinda, like, giving guilt tripping you. This is a behavior that my sister has, so it's like she's a different type of narcissist than my dad is. It's no wonder that I had a falling out with both of them after a while, when I got a little bit more aware and my attitude kinda adjusted to their behavior. And for them, my sister definitely didn't like that I was less accommodating than I was before, and for my dad, he doesn't get it, but I gray rock him on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Like, I don't
No.
pay attention to anything he says. But, that does, and the thing is, that's you would think that that would make my birthdays, like, really hazardous to my health. And I think people understand that if they know me for a while, like, I start acting really erratic on my birthday, usually on social media. Since social media is a thing now, I start, like, lamenting about stuff and, like, I start being philosophical and sometimes really negative about my birthday. And it's just a lot of the times it's just because on my birthday, I'm disappointed a lot on my birthday. So it scares me. Birthday is like the day that I'm so scared of.
Mhm.
Because if something bad happens on your birthday, you remember it much more so. It's like, "Oh, yeah, remember when this happened on my birthday? Remember when so and so puked in front of your,
Huh.
like,
I
feet
th
on your birthday?" You remember that because it was your birthday. It would've been any other day, but because he puked right at your feet and told you to clean it up on your birthday, you remember that for life now. And it's just horrible, right, Lisa? And
Yeah, yeah, right, and then it makes me think, like, where the fuck was my mom, to
yeah,
be
where was
like
she?
yeah, I'm trying to remember, I don't even remember her. I think they went out to drink together, I don't know,
She
but,
was
like
fine, and he's puking on the floor, so I'm like, "Okay."
yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?